lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to
Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. There's been a bit of a meltdown and not with Spur fans. And Eddie Howe, remember him? Eddie Howe, the manager that was linked with Celtic for such a long time, and he left Celtic waiting. He did leave Celtic waiting, and he's spoken. He's finally spoken. Simon Jordan's spoken to him. We're going to listen to him, and then we're going to show you a video of the manager that got the nods rather than Eddie Howe. We're going to show you Ange Postecoglou because things have turned sour for him last night. If you remember the admiration and the songs, yes, you remember the song. It's the form that we have found since Ange has been around that has put us to the top of the league. And the Celtic fans loved Ange Postecoglou. Some fans still love Ange Postecoglou. We have fond memories of Ange. He was the manager that came in and turned things around for us at a time where we had a little bit of a rebuild going on at the club. But Spurs fans, and I told you this would happen with them, they're a nasty club. I don't like Spurs at all. They've turned on Ange, and I'm going to show you a video of them turning on Ange. But before then, we're going to talk a little bit about Johnny Kenny. Yes, Johnny Kenny. Celtic have been talking about the fact that they need for a third striker. It came out last night that Irish striker Johnny Kenny is set to earn his Celtic opportunity after his impressive form in Europe for Shamrock Rovers. A lot of the Celtic fans have been shouting out for Johnny Kenny to get his chance at Celtic, and Brendan Rodgers wants a young goal scorer, but he's proved it. He's proved it in it is the Europa Conference. It is the Europa Conference, but he's 21-year-old. You know, he's propelled Shamrock Rovers into the Europa Conference playoff places, and the Republic of Ireland under 21 has, he scored against Rapid Vienna. He did score against Rapid Vienna. That's no mean feat on its own, and he looks as if he's grown a bit. And he's maybe matured a bit. I think he was maybe at Celtic a little bit too young, and it was maybe good that he actually went back to Ireland just to grow up a bit and just to grow into the player that we all thought he ultimately could be. And the fact that he's maybe the good thing about this as well is that he didn't stick around in the Celtic B team, and maybe this was actually Brendan Rodgers at his best. He's seen how players in the Celtic B team have all of a sudden have delusions of grandeur, and thinking that they should be earning X amount of money as soon as they come into the Celtic A team. It's where he got Johnny Kenny, and he says, "Nah, lad, I'm going to send you back to Ireland." And maybe there's something wrong with the mindset of the players in the Celtic B team. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. But it's interesting that he wasn't put into the B team. He was put into the B team to start with, wasn't he? And then Celtic pulled him out and put him out on loan to go back to Ireland. And I think that has been... It's been a thing that if he comes back, put it this way, if he does come back and he gets into the Celtic team and he is our third choice striker, fair play to the lad. And it's something that hopefully, especially the way that the Daniel Cummins thing is going, the fact that he hasn't been offered a new contract, and listen, people will say that he hasn't been offered the contract, Celtic are bad in this. There will have been talks with the agent, and the agent will have demanded X amount of money, and that's the way that these things go. If Celtic decide that what the player wants and what they have on offer is not going to be, they're not going to be able to narrow the gap and have some kind of common ground with the contract, Celtic won't put the contract on the table. It's as simple as that. It happens in any business. If you go for a job interview and you're wanting 40 grand a year, and they go, nah, look, we're only wanting to pay 20 grand a year, that's it. You don't get the offer of the job, do you? And it's no different from football. So whilst people are saying that Celtic are losing someone else again, I do think that, look at the way that Johnny Kenny's went. He was 18 when he signed for Celtic. He's went back to Ireland for a couple of years, had his football education, not had any delusions of grandeur, not demanding money, not had an agent saying that we can get you more money done in England, and then it looks as if he's going to come back and get his big chance at Celtic, which is great, is absolutely fantastic. And he does look as if because he was a really young kid when he came to Celtic. But anyway, the teenager, when he signed for Celtic, he was only 18-year-old, and he's on his 5th goal in the youth league. Anyway, we move on from him because there's other things that we want to talk about, and an important one. This one is one that all Celtic fans, it'll be kind of fresh in the memory. Well, not really, because we've got an even better manager now, haven't we? But Eddie Howe is a manager, and we were all told that it was coming to Celtic, and then he turned his back on Celtic and turned the job down. Let's listen to what Eddie Howe has to say for himself about that time.
Yeah, I knew that's what I needed. And then beyond that, I'd wait and see what opportunities came up.
And you get a big opportunity, with all due respect to Bournemouth. You get Celtic come in the door. And I remember opining on it at the time. I didn't opine on it in a very complimentary way, because I felt that you bottled it. That's one way of putting it.
So what you really think?
No, absolutely. I felt that the Celtic job is a massive job in football. Yeah. It comes with its own pressure that you're in a two-horse league and ultimately you've got to win. There's no alternative. And it felt to me like you didn't fancy it for that reason. You know, Celtic obviously thought quite highly of you, and if you look at what they said at the time, it looked like alighting upon you for a big job, a job with European football attached to it, a job with scale and recognisability around the world.
Yep.
So put aside the baiting observation of me saying that you bottled it. What was the reason that you wouldn't have taken on such a big job like Celtic?
Before Eddie Howe talks, let's put it into perspective, because Newcastle sit 20th in the league. Yeah, they sit 12th. Sorry, they sit 12th in the league. There's absolutely no chance of them winning the English Premiership. They may get a run in some of the cups, but Eddie Howe went to them for money, and before he says anything, you know, he did bottle it. He didn't want to come to Celtic, and all this nonsense that he didn't get to bring his own backroom staff and everything. But let's see what the man's got to say for himself.
Yeah, so during that period that I'd had out, obviously I'd had a few job offers, but I'd said I'm not considering anything to a year. That year had passed, and Celtic came up, and I was immediately attracted to the job. I thought, wow, what an opportunity,
Sure.
What a football club. Great people as well. The people I met were unbelievable. So there was no downside for me, but I had to get my staff together. And for me, that if I was to go into a football club, I could have gone in on my own. So I could have gone to Celtic on my own and gone, right, I'm going to work with the staff that are there. But I felt for my first job back, that would have been a big...
Even with all this new acquired knowledge that might have superseded the coaching staff that you had before because it was new knowledge?
Yeah, no, I felt I needed to go in at my strongest.
You've got to laugh at him. You've got to go in at your strongest. You've got to Newcastle to win things, and you're lying down 12th in the league with no possibility of winning absolutely anything. I've got a funny feeling he's just talking shite, don't you?
My strongest would have been with my team, so that's Jason Tindall, Stephen Purchase, Simon Weatherstone, Dan Hodges. These are important people to me. So I'd sort of made my decision. I was really keen to go. Jason had left Bournemouth, but I couldn't get them together.
Right.
I couldn't get the team to all agree, and it wasn't necessarily I needed every single one of them, but of course that's an important dynamic, and I didn't feel that was right for me to take the opportunity in that moment. Would have been wrong for Celtic as well, I think. So I declined the offer.
So it's grotesquely unfair, my observation then.
Well, it is, yeah, but that's what happens in the media, doesn't it? You jump to conclusions, and you have, I heard that, and you have to accept it. You can't fight it.
So, I mean, he's basically saying that it was his staff that he couldn't get to come to Celtic. There was a big thing in the paper, there was a big thing at the time that Celtic would not allow him to bring his staff to Celtic. The Scottish media absolutely slated Celtic for it at the time, saying that, and fans did as well, saying that, Celtic wouldn't allow him to bring his staff. And there was a big backlash, which I think was wrong. There was a big backlash against John Kennedy and Strachan and everybody at the time. When you look at the success, and you have to look at ultimately the failures of the COVID year, but that there was a lot of things that happened that year. The fact that John Kennedy was here way before that bad time. He was here under the manager the first time round. You've got to remember, the manager wanted to take him south also. Ange Postecoglou wanted to take John Kennedy south also. I think he's a bit of an unsung hero. Is he an unsung hero at Celtic? I mean, he's another person in the history of Celtic that's devoted his life to Celtic, from being a player coming through the youth system to getting his first team opportunity and having that absolutely horrific tackle while he was playing for Scotland. It was a career-ending tackle, remember, and then that Celtic retained his services because he was he wasn't ready to go out, and he could have had a completely different life. He could have just said, look, I don't want to go into coaching or anything, I just want to go on. But no, he stuck with Celtic stuck with him, and I think that we ultimately are seeing the best because Ange Postecoglou used to put him in charge of training, and I think maybe Brendan does the same.
So your management mantra is somewhat similar to my thinking, which is you get places because of people rather than in spite of them. But would you attribute a lot of the success you have as a result of the team that you've got around you?
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why, for me, the Celtic job I just couldn't take. I knew if I was to get back into management, I needed to go with my team to give myself the best chance and
That's not working out for you, is it?
ourselves the best chance of being successful. Me and Jason, we've got this telepathic understanding. There's a great feeling and dynamic. Now, since going to Newcastle, you can add Graham Jones to that list, who's become an integral part of my team.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but Newcastle fans, come on, you're way down the league. When I look at the league, right, I'm sorry to talk about Newcastle first thing in the morning, but you're sitting down on 20 points, and Liverpool are on 35 points. There's no chance that you're closing the gap on Liverpool. You've got a goal difference of 0, and Liverpool have got a goal difference of 18. Chelsea have got a goal difference of 16. Do you know, even looking at a team that you might pass, Ange Postecoglou, who we're going to talk about in a minute, his team's got a goal difference of 13. So, I think that's enough of Eddie Howe, isn't it? The fact that we did go for Ange Postecoglou was a godsend, really.
Stephen Perch, everyone plays a role that has tangible results to our success. And so it's definitely not about me. I'm the one here in front of the cameras, and someone has to take that role on. Sure. And I'm proud to do it, but these guys are invaluable to me.
The Newcastle job.
Who cares? They're 12th in the league and they're never going to win anything. Anyway, that's enough about him. Let's watch Ange Postecoglou. Let's talk about the Hibs game first. The Hibs game is 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and it's good to get back to Celtic Park. And the travelling fans have been up to Aberdeen, having to stand in that stand with no cover, like being back in the 1970s, and the toilet facilities in Aberdeen are just as bad. Celtic return home with Hibernian tomorrow, and we hope to extend our lead more against Aberdeen, who have dropped quite a few points over the last couple of weeks. Confidence is flowing with Brendan Rodgers and the team. That was a hard-fought win up in Aberdeen. There will be lots of changes for the game this weekend, so do not expect the same starting 11 to start, because we do have a Champions League game on Tuesday. And straight after the game on Saturday, it will be time to start talking about that massive, massive Champions League game. Because if we do win that game, if we get any points in that game, it should help secure our spot in the top 24 of the UEFA Champions League. But before then, after Rio Hatate scored that fantastic goal, yes, that fantastic goal, is Rio still on this? Yes, that fantastic goal when he gave Dons that look as if to say, come on then, is that all you've got? And then the Aberdeen fans started singing, you only sing when you're winning. And they're standing in the fucking pouring rain. You're under a stand and you never sang. The Aberdeen Ultras, they were a joke the whole game. But anyway, we do digress. The fact that Rio Hatate did score that goal, and he looks as if he's in the mood again, which is great coming up for the Champions League. We do play Hibernian that are away down the bottom of the league, and we still have the league table. Yeah, there we go. It's a smaller SPFL table. We'll go over that one. That's bigger. Yes, so Celtic are sitting on 40 points, Aberdeen are on 33. We look at Hibernian, they're sitting on 12 points. Let's just hope that Hearts and Kilmarnock get dragged down into that bottom pit of the SPFL, and let's hope come the end of the season that's Hearts and Kilmarnock, one of them automatically go down and one are in the playoff and get relegated. There'd be nothing better this season than for Hearts or Kilmarnock to get automatically relegated. In fact, the two of them to go down as far as I'm concerned, because yeah, that's all we need to say about that. Let me just see, where are we? We're on that one, aren't we? Right, let's listen to Ange Postecoglou, because the Hibs game will take care of itself. I think it will be a Celtic win. It is not on TV. For those that like watching TV, it will be on Celtic TV, so if you have a Fire Stick, you can be able to get it on that. Wherever you are around the world, or if you're subscribed to Celtic TV, you'll be able to get it that. It is a 3 o'clock kickoff. There is a storm brewing. Yes, there is a storm brewing. Storm Dara. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's just because I know someone of a similar name coming to Ireland, and their buses look as if there might not be any ferries, so there might be big bulging gaps at Celtic Park with the fact that all the buses from Ireland will not be able to get over. And you should never underestimate how many buses actually do come over from Ireland every week for Celtic Park, especially at home games. And they do bring a fantastic travelling support, all the buses from Ireland. And especially at this time of the year, they do a lot of things for kids. They do bring a lot of kids over for the days out in the run up to Christmas and the New Year. And it's fantastic work that all the people that run the buses, but the three guys that I know that run 3 different buses coming out of Ireland. So anyway, hopefully the weather can hold just a little bit for you to get over. Now let's listen to Ange Postecoglou. Let's listen to Ange. He was having a bit of a hard time of it down south. Yes, I will just put this up here, and if I go over this way, we'll be able to just get the screen just a little bit bigger. And then if we do this, we'll see Ange having a little bit of fallout with Spurs fans. Go on! Oh dear. You fat cunt. Yeah, you gotta love. I told him not to go to that club. I said it was the wrong club for Ange. It wasn't a good fit for Ange. I mean, he went to that club and he said, yeah, I like to pick clubs up. I like to think that they could win. Ange, you went to that club for one thing and one thing only, and that was cash. I think there was a lot better jobs that have since came around that you could have been in contention for if you'd stayed at Celtic. But no, he took that first opportunity. And we've got to remember, Ange left us at a time where we just won the Scottish Cup. He actually told, and this is one thing that personally I don't think we should ever forget, the fact that he did tell Dermot Desmond and Peter Lawwell before kick-off at Hampden that he wanted to talk to Spurs. And that's why, if you remember back, Dermot Desmond and Peter Lawwell at the time were standing after the win at Hampden, not celebrating, which was very unusual for them, because they ultimately knew that they were going to have to look for another manager. And then Ange told us, don't get too attached to your stars. And then we all know what happened. It's history. But has it been history for the better? If you check out last night's video, which is up here somewhere, if it's, it'll be at the end of the screen, we did ask the question because someone said, was it last night's video or yesterday's video? I'll check it out. I will put it up at the end screen. Who's the better manager? And is Brendan Rodgers better manager than Ange Postecoglou? That's an interesting one when you see the lowly position that Tottenham are sitting in the league. Ange was brought in to win them things, and he was told that he told them that he would win things in his second season. Now he's in his second season at Spurs, and everybody's going, who cares? But there's a lot of people that still think fondly of Ange, and he is just part of our history now. He is just part of our history. But he is lying down in 10th position on 20 points. Absolutely no chance of them turning around 15 points to win the league. That's for sure. Can they win a cup? Who cares, really? Anyway, Brendan Rodgers and another player will be talking to the media today, so we will jump on live, or we'll do a video later on talking about that. There won't be a live 8 o'clock Celtic Park time tonight. There will not. We are on 20,106, and we haven't spoken about this today, actually. So if you are still watching the video at this point, you probably already know about this. It is going along the bottom of the screen, the Boxing Day live event, and I'll just do a quick check-up on how much money we have raised. An absolutely fantastic amount of money. We're still sitting on 73%. We've raised £736 already for the Celtic Foundation. It's an absolutely fantastic amount of money. I didn't expect it to go up as quick as what it has, considering we're only on the 6th of December. We've still got 20 days to go yet. Hopefully we can get it over the £1,000 mark, and then we can make a good run for it on the day. And that was my hope. It was always to get that first £1,000 in so that we can make a fantastic, and put it into perspective. Neil Lennon currently did a thing for the Celtic Foundation where he done the Camino Trek here in Spain. and he only raised just over 9,000. If we can raise even half of that, I'll be absolutely over the moon, because it's going to an absolutely fantastic cause. It is going to the Celtic Foundation. The Celtic Foundation is the charitable aspect of Celtic, and it's a worthy cause because they do spend a lot of money on people that need it in and around Glasgow and further afield. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. And I just need to get the right screen up, don't I? Where's the video? Just forget it. I'll just stop.